Welcome everybody to Carolina Wild Harvest. Today we have a video based around the mushrooms that you can find in our pantry / in our life.
Yeah, definitely.
So take it away, Ben.
Yeah, so we've got a lot to go through. I've been collecting wild mushrooms and definitely been into different mushrooms you can buy through Amazon, through Thrive, through a few different places. Yes. We get some of our mushrooms. So we've got a lot to go through here. Some are powders, some are, like I said, ones we've harvested from the wild and dried. So yeah, let's get into it. So I guess we can start with some of the Ohm brand mushrooms that we buy. Mostly we get through Thrive, some on Amazon. Right. So you can probably see some in Tiffany's Thrive hauls. Yes. on O'Clock, on your O'Clock channel. But yeah, so you want to show the Master Blend one?
Alright, so this one's actually the newest one. We haven't even opened it yet.
No.
But this one we've been really excited for because it does have some mushrooms in it that we don't have powders for. So
and are kind of hard to find in a lot of places too. And you said they were actually sold out within a short time of buying these, right?
They're still sold out. So pretty exciting, but you want to read off?
I was going to see if you
I can do some of them.
Alright, see what you can do. See what you can do.
There's Lion's Mane, Rishi, Cordyceps Turkey Tail, Chaga, King Trumpet, Maitake.
This is an interesting one. Antrodia camphoraata, which I'm not all that familiar with.
And then shiitake and Agaricus blazei, and then there's
adaptogens. Some botanicals. A few different things like basil and ginkgo biloba and a few different things. But yeah, we're excited to try this one. We really like some of the blends, so I mean that's super easy to get a lot of different medicinal mushrooms into your diet just with some powder like that. So like we said, we haven't tried it yet, but we're definitely excited to. What's next?
We got this blend from them, the Fit blend, which is cordyceps, two different cordyceps, Rishi, and Lion's Mane.
Cool. Yeah, so that's a good one for like training and energy and recovery and stuff like that. So we don't use that one a lot because as you'll see, we've got a lot of those in different forms here. So what's next?
You just got the chaga. Yeah. So now we're on to like the single ones. Right.
And this is one we incorporate into our diet quite often, into smoothies, into coffee. I probably end up taking it like twice a day just because I really like it, and I think it's a great thing to incorporate into your diet. So chaga is definitely a good one for sure.
Moving on to the cordyceps.
Yeah, another great one. Really good for like stamina and blood flow. So if you're wanting extra energy, it's great for that. Lots of studies showing benefits for that kind of stuff. So cordyceps is definitely a good one. I like to put it in my coffee, again with chaga or some of the others here, and great for teas too. So you can make just a tea out of just the cordyceps, and it's kind of tasty.
Then we have Rishi.
The classic Rishi, definitely a good one. I highly recommend Rishi. Definitely really good for your immune system. Lots of studies showing health benefits for this one in all kinds of facets of your life. So I would highly recommend this one. We use it a lot.
This is the one I use the most, I would say.
Yeah. Again, we probably take this one at least once or twice a day.
Turkey tail.
Definitely one of my favorites, just favorite mushrooms in general, but this powder is really good, and we use it quite often too. I typically take this one more at night, but I like to try to incorporate it daily into drinks, teas, stuff like that.
And Maitake.
Oh yeah.
This is when you need
when I have too many cookies or too many of the little sweets, too much sugar, I like to take this one. It seems to help my blood sugar levels when I get elevated heart rate from a lot of sugar. This one seems to help mellow me out a little bit, and there's definitely a lot of studies backing that in blood sugar and potential health benefits in relation to diabetes. So definitely a good one to incorporate into your diet as well.
And then the last single powder we have is the lion's mane.
Yeah, definitely a good one for your nervous system, for focus, and it's shown to improve neurogenesis in your brain, which is very important, especially as you age. So another highly recommended mushroom to incorporate into your diet. We use this one daily as well. Try to incorporate it into daily life.
Yep. I probably should take more of that. But good thing, because we actually recently made, well, I guess credit goes to Ben over here for recently making some mixes, easy like grab and go mixes. So we have a little daytime one with a little sun and a little nighttime one, so you know, kind of take it accordingly. The daytime one contains turkey tail, cordyceps, lion's mane, and chaga, and then the nighttime is reishi, turkey tail, and chaga. Now, how much of each did you put in, though?
It really differs. The nighttime, I kind of went a lot heavier on reishi because some studies show that taking reishi in the evening is more beneficial in that way, but there's different proportions in each one. And basically what we did is we just took some of these powders, especially since we had these new bags that weren't opened. We went ahead and used the last of some of the other bags we had and mixed them up, because you know, it's going into each bag and getting a scoop and doing that for 3 or 4 different mushrooms every morning, you know, and twice a day. When you do that in the evening as well, it's kind of like a lot of extra time.
Yep.
So we did this more for our convenience when we're wanting to quickly add some of these mushrooms into different smoothies or whatever.
Right.
So.
And then this is the Mush 10, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Mush 10 from Mushroom Revival. We had it in a different jar. I forget why we moved it.
Broke.
Yeah, I want to say it fell.
Yeah,
I knocked it down because our mushroom cabinet is full, as you can probably tell. So we moved it into this, and I add this into cooking a lot of times. So when I'm kind of finished preparing a meal, like even on top of pizzas and stuff like that, I like to sprinkle this on top just to get a little bit of extra mushrooms. And there are 10 different mushrooms in there. I can't tell you all the different 10. I'd have to look at the bottle, but this is definitely a good one as well if you want to get, you know, a bunch of different mushrooms incorporated into your diet.
And then one kind of off-topic one, but like on-topic one, we have, by the same brand as all the mushroom powders, a broth mix, but it contains three different mushrooms. I think it's, yeah, shiitake, lion's mane, and reishi, and it's just a miso broth. It's pretty good. We just recently started eating this.
Yeah, we've had it once, probably this past week, I think.
I think so.
I really liked it. It was really good. Made a quick miso soup and actually added some shiitakes, mushrooms that we had dried into it, and it was really good miso soup. I really like miso soup, so getting some extra mushrooms incorporated into it and really easy powder to use is super awesome.
For sure. So that wraps it up for the
ones we bought.
Yes.
The mushrooms we bought.
Yes.
So the next kind of section, and I guess probably the majority of the mushrooms we have, are ones we foraged from the wild or grown at home ourselves. So either cultivated ourselves or we found them in the wild and harvest them. So let's go through those. So it's a space here. So let's see, what do you want to start with?
The black trumpets.
Black trumpets? Okay. Yeah, so we had a massive black trumpet harvest this year back home. So we have some woods, and I recently found a good spot where these are growing, and we hit it right at a perfect time after some rain, and we probably spent like 3 or 4 hours in the woods just picking black trumpets. We had to go back to the house and get more bags, and yeah, we filled up massive bags full. So we ate obviously a lot of those fresh, but we ended up having so many, you know, we had to like figure out what to do with them. So we dried them. We've got this whole quart jar, as well as this smaller jar, and this jar, which we've been working through, are all black trumpets. So we have lots of black trumpets to eat, and these are gonna last a very long time being dried. As long as you dry your mushrooms well, they're gonna be very stable on the shelf. So yeah, we really like our black trumpets. We add them into like pasta dishes. They're good on top of pizza if you rehydrate them. They're really a versatile mushroom and really tasty in my opinion. So definitely one of our favorites. And this has really been the first year I've found lots of black trumpets. I've found small amounts of black trumpets before, but this year we really found a massive amount. So yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
So let's see, maybe the next biggest group would be the Chanterelles.
Yeah.
So this summer we had a good chanterelle harvest. So I didn't actually find some of my larger spots this year. I didn't have a chance to go and look at some of those, but we ended up finding some new spots which were actually just as good. So we have these from, what month is that?
August.
July, August, yeah, August, and then we have some from June as well. So again, this was one that we found so many. We filled up lots of bags. We ate lots of them fresh, but we ended up drying quite a bit. And I've also got some here that are the chanterelle minors, or the cinnabar chanterelles as well, that we have dried. These are fun to just add into meals too, because they're super light and they don't add much calories or anything, but they're good to add. So let's see, what next? Maybe the Rishi. So this is our Rishi. You actually, if you've seen the Appalachian harvest or hiking, I think we called it Appalachian hiking and foraging.
I think so, yeah.
If you've seen that video on the channel, you have seen this Rishi. This Rishi was included in a few different videos, and you can actually see a picture on our Instagram as well. Very large fruiting body, a very large mushroom. So I had a bunch to, you know, make tea with then fresh, and then we dried the rest of it. So this is one of the quart jars, but we also have a little bit more in the pantry as well that we slowly work through. So we like to make our own teas and add it to coffee and stuff like that. Another great one to have around, especially if you find them in the wild. So let's see what's next. How about turkey tail? So some turkey tail, I'll actually get them out because this one's kind of foggy. So we've got a bunch of different turkey tail in here that I've found. These are really easy to dry because typically when you find them, there's not much moisture to them, so they're very easy to dry and store. Again, just like the Rishi, we like to grind it up and add it to teas or make coffee with it, and another great medicinal mushroom to have around. Let's see, what's this one? I believe this is actually a mushroom mix that my mother found at Costco. So they had a massive mushroom mix. So this is kind of gets off the topic of our foraged ones. So I guess we should have included it with the purchased ones. But it was a really cool mix. It had like bullets and black trumpets and shiitake and all kinds of stuff to it, which is kind of weird mushrooms to mix together in my opinion. But I guess, you know, it's whatever. You get a bunch of cool mushrooms that you might not find. Porcini, so that's one of the bullets, which you can't really find many of around here that are worth eating. So that was a good kind of mix to have.
Was that the same mix that you stole all the black trumpets out of?
Yeah, I picked most of the black trumpets out of because I like them the most. But yeah, I ended up giving most of it back to my mom, but we still have some. This I found, you know, it's kind of a pain to rehydrate because all of them need different, you know, amounts of moisture to fully rehydrate. So I find that this kind of thing where it's like a big mix of different mushrooms is better for like stocks or soups and things like that you can cook for a long amount of time and not really have to worry about getting the right texture and stuff like that on your mushrooms. But yeah, it's a cool one worth noting. So if you ever see something like that in the stores, I mean, maybe worth, you know, purchasing and trying out. So let's see, maybe the wine caps next. So this is one we cultivate. We have quite a few different beds in the backyard. The entire garden is full of these, and we have a back shade garden that is full of these as well, and I've grown these for years now. And they're very easy to grow in mulch beds, so we do no-till gardening with mulch on top, so they grow in with our plants. So we've got some videos coming up soon from our garden walk videos where, you know, it's probably more mushrooms than there are plants in the garden. Exactly. So these come in, you know, after big rains, so you'll typically get a huge flush of them at one time. And this last one that we had this past week came in after a big rain, and we basically did one big harvest, and then the next day did almost as big harvest, and then the third day we took a little bit less. So we've had so many of these I've actually had to dry them Typically I'll eat, you know, the good ones and, you know, I'll just eat them all in a few days, but we had so many this year that we had to dry some. And we're actually working on drying more right now, so this is not it. There's more to come. So let's see. This is one of my favorites, but Tiffany does not like these. What are these?
Oh no. I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Fishy Milkies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually Lactoflue volimus. That's what it says here on our label, but there's actually Lactoflue corrugus, I believe, in this as well, which are very similar. They have the same smell and very similar species. So we dried some of these. This is probably one of the best years I've ever had in foraging these. I really like them because they go great in a bunch of different dishes, kind of as like a almost seafoody kind of meaty.
In the chili, right?
Right. They're great in vegan chilies. Great in all kinds of different stuff. Tiffany's not a huge fan of these.
Absolutely hate the smell and like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm even cooked, like I don't really like the texture, but like when it's put in something like the chili, I didn't really mind it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And these like she said, the smell is very strong. Like I can be walking through the woods, like typically you see these in the summer, so walking through the woods in the summer and you just smell them. Like you can smell them from, you know, feet away. Oh, yeah. And then you pick them up, and Lactoflue or the milky mushrooms, when you pick them up and if you bruise them, they'll start having a like milky residue come off of them. Mm-hmm. And the residue of these, especially the volimus ones, it stains. So it will stain your clothing and you will not be able to get it out. It is very hard to get out of your clothing, hard to get off of your hands. And if you pick these up, you will smell like
for days.
Like fish or like seafood for days. So Tiffany really hates when I harvest these. I just make sure to wash my hands.
Walk in and I'll smell it and I'll be like, you picked one up.
Yeah. But yeah, these are a great one for like a meat substitute. So if you're looking for like a wild mushroom that can be like a meat substitute, it has a great texture for that. So yeah, I really like these again, and I add them to a bunch of different stuff. I've never tried them dried before, so this is kind of an experiment for us to have them dried and see what they're like. Maybe they won't have the smell as much. Maybe it'll be a different texture. And same with the wine caps too. I've never really tried these, so that's kind of an experiment to see how they do that way as well. But most mushrooms you can do that with, so shouldn't be a problem. All right, we've got two left here. One of my favorites and a super easy one and safe one to harvest is your jelly fungi. So these are really cool mushrooms. There's quite a few different jelly fungi, and this is some of the larger ones that you'll find. Oops. And this is actually obviously completely dried. So if you dropped it in water for maybe an hour or two, it would swell up to in this size, like a small like volleyball or something. So a great mushroom to kind of have around is dried. I like to add these into like miso soup or into different soups, and you can kind of crush it up and add it to all different kinds of things. And jelly fungi are one of the few kind of different mushrooms that you can actually eat raw. So most of the jelly fungi are actually really good for you. A lot of them help with blood flow and things like that, like your circulatory system. So again, a good mushroom to kind of grab and let it dry out. You can literally let these sit on the counter and they'll dry out. So very easy to store, and we've got lots of really big ones. We've got wood ears, we've got amber jelly rolls, and a few different jelly fungi that we dry and just throw in here. And I think some of these are over a year old and they don't really go bad if you keep them dry enough. So very easy to rehydrate as well. So good one to have on hand. And then our last mushroom is a really cool one, and was actually the first time I found it this year. We were hiking around here in one of our local state parks, and we found this. And actually I shouldn't say that.
I was just thinking that as you said it.
Cut that. So here's a really cool one that we found local here to us. This is a Tremella. So this is a really, really fun mushroom to find and eat. You can actually make like false ramen or fake noodles with this, and it was. What did you think? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
Great texture. So we actually had enough to where we could dry some and save it. We actually made powders out of it too to make a coconut oil. There's a lot of different uses for Tremella, and some is in for skincare. So you can actually apply this topically to your skin and help with acne and some other skin issues. So a really cool mushroom and very versatile. And again, this was a first find for me this year. I've been looking for many years and finally found it, and that was very exciting. So, well, cool. That's all of the different mushrooms that are in our pantry right now. We go through a lot of mushrooms. We eat lots of mushrooms pretty much every day. We try to incorporate as many mushrooms as we can for our health and for our well-being. So I guess, what is your favorite out of the harvest ones or cultivated and the ones we've purchased?
Okay.
What would you say?
The ones we purchased, I'm just gonna go with like the Rishi, the
Sure.
OG.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. You use
love
that a lot.
one. Yeah. For the harvested ones though,
It's hard for you, huh?
it is.
I know you love the Lactoflue.
That one's at the bottom of the list. That's my least favorite. I guess, I don't know, because I kind of like, well,
Black Trumpet.
I like the Black Trumpet, I like the Rishi, and I like the jelly ones, and I like the Tremella one. Actually, I think I'll go with the Tremella. That was fun.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, that was a good experience. So, yeah. Okay. Well, for me, I don't know. I'm a really big fan of lion's mane. I try to take as much of that one on a daily basis as I kind of can, and try to incorporate that at least into 2 different drinks or something I have a day. So that's probably my favorite one that we purchase. That one's one, when I find it in the wild, it's so tasty to me. I like the texture of it so much that I want to cook all of it and eat it, you know, if I find it. But I have dried some and used it as powders like that when we've harvested some. But that's probably my favorite purchased one. My favorite one we have harvested, I don't know, I'd probably say Chanterelles. Like that's a consistent one that's always my favorite. I'm always excited for summer to go out and find Chanterelles and check my spots. And yeah, I really like making a bunch of different stuff with it. I like to make duxelle, which is a fancy kind of French dip with wine and some allium, so like garlic and onions. So that one's a really versatile mushroom. So that's probably my favorite one. Well, cool. Everybody, let us know what your favorite one was here. Let us know what you think about our crazy mushroom pantry, and let us know what you think. So leave us some comments, and make sure to like and subscribe if you thought this video was cool, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.